I never really intended to make like strict rap music because my enjoyment is really it's in both, to be honest. But when I get a beat, I'm more inclined to do something that's specific to like an R&B or like something melodic because I understand the connection that I can get with the listener, right? I can say a lot less in an R&B record or a pop record that I know will resonate with so many different people. Whereas when I make my raps, and I have fans on here, like, yo, shout out to Edward. I know he's a big fan of mine for my raps, not as big on my R&B. But he's one of the guys, like, he'll rewind my shit, my verses, replay them specifically because he wants to catch everything I'm saying. The challenge with music nowadays is not everyone's going to do that, man. So you lose a lot of listeners by being so content dense. But what I find with the pop music or the R&B music is that I can still tell you how I feel in fewer words, and you'll want to rewind it not to hear everything again, but because it's stuck in your head. And that creates like a replay value for me so that I can be a little bit more, it creates more value in my brand, but just less so than the verses, because the verses you're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like you get that initial impact. It's like the Pepsi challenge, you know? You take one sip, Pepsi's much better, but I enjoy a Coke much more for the full can. That's the way I kind of liken the verses to the R&B stuff, is that I feel like I get, like, all my tracks, like my Blood Brothers, yeah, like my boy Edward and KP are saying now, my Blood Brothers album, few songs had replay value. They're exceptional products because of the verses, but it doesn't have that connection when you make a rap song as much as it does with something that has melody, it has a hum, it has a vibration, it has a feeling. Like, you never wake up in the morning, right? Or you never leave your car spitting a rap lyric. You're kind of remembering a tune or a melody, or, you know what I'm saying? Like a vibe.
Like me, like I'm like a human jukebox. I'm a forklift driver at work, and like I'll drive around and I'll remember people's raps, and I'll be spitting them, and like it's funny now. Like I've always been doing it, but now with the mask, nobody knows I'm spitting like other people's raps.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just driving around and doing my forklift jobs. You know, like I actually get like me, like I'm really into the raps. Like I actually get like people's raps stuck in my head. I'm like the way they said certain things.
Yeah,
You know?
that's dope too. And I'm like, I probably have fans. I have fans who sometimes will, dude. I remember doing a show, and I remember the fans because I wrote a verse for something. We spit it for the lunchroom, and it was so new. It was like 2 weeks, bro. And then we did a show. We did a show 2 weeks later. The fucking guy in the front of the audience knew my lyrics better than I did, and I was on stage. He was spitting them back at me, and I'm like, I can't even believe this shit that somebody, but maybe something just gets locked in your brain, and it just makes sense for the time, and you just get so invested in it, right? So it's hard to say, man. And like I said, I'm speaking, I guess, selfishly, because I'm talking about what I enjoy more so. But
For sure.
like you're a listener, and if you're saying you're repeating raps, then maybe I'm off the mark, man. Maybe, you know, I have fans out there that are loving my raps just as much.
For me at work, like when I am doing like I drive around and I got different stuff stuck in my head. I'd probably say I'm 60% raps I remember, and then like 40% of the time I'm like remembering melodies and kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kind of like beatboxing, and like kind of like as I go around, like I'm remembering certain beats, but then like I'd say majority of the time like it's like little raps, like maybe like a little like 4-bar scheme like that'll get stuck in my head.
Really? Okay. Yeah. That's. Hey, man, and that's actually a lesson for me too, right?